Hello race fans and welcome. In this video I'm going to be showing you how you can create your own iRacing livery in under 10 minutes. To do this we're going to be using trading paints and their paint builder app, which you need to pay for, but it only costs $24.99 for the year, so a drop in the ocean for what we're all already paying for iRacing. The main perks of Paint Builder is that it makes it far easier to paint a car than other applications such as GIMP or Photoshop, as you're going to need far less computer and design skills than you would in either of the other two, and the learning curve is also far easier. To demonstrate this, we're going to be recreating the iconic Richard Petty livery on the late model stock. Let's get into it. So the first thing you want to do is load up the car in iRacing that we're going to be painting. As I said, in this case we're going to be doing the late model stock. What you want to do then is you want to head over to Trading Paints, which I've already got loaded up here. And then you want to simply go across to Paint Cars and load up Paint Builder. When this loads, what it's going to do, it's going to bring up the window where all your existing liveries are. As you can see, there's multiple liveries in here that have already been designed and using for the last 6 months. To start a new one, as it says on the tin, click the new button in the top corner, and then we need to find the vehicle. So like I said, if we just put in late, and there it is, late model stock. So select that and give it a name. So in this case, since we're doing the iconic Richard Petty livery, I'm just going to call it RP1. By clicking continue, this then loads up the application that we're going to be using, and it's like a flat map of the car. So what you need to think here is, what is each part of the car? So the easiest way to think of it, obviously we've got the middle of the car, so we've got the bonnet, roof and rear, and then we've got each side of the car. And then obviously we've got the front and the rear end of the car as well. So it's quite easy really once you try and work out which part of the car is. One easy thing to do as well is to load up, if you look on the right hand side, you've got a wireframe. So what this will do, it's very faint, but you can look, if I zoom in, you can see all these lines here. What these are, they're showing you where certain elements of the design are going to be. So it makes it easier to place logos and stuff like that, and also when you're doing it to make sure they're all lined up correctly. So you can change the colour of this to make it a little bit easier to see, but like I said, we'll go into that a little bit later on as we're painting. The next thing, what we're looking at, is going to be sponsor blocks. So if we zoom back out, get it back in the middle, there we go. So sponsor blocks. So we turn this on, and these blocks here showing where you can safely place sponsors without them getting and interfering with other parts of the car design. Same applies for number blocks. So by turning these on, it shows where the numbers will be placed automatically by iRacing. So now that we're loaded up, let's start the 10-minute timer and get this car designed. So now that we're on the clock, let's start firing through this. So the good thing about trading paints is you can load up all the standard designs on iRacing and sort of mix and match them a little bit. Like I said, today we're doing the Richard Petty design, and this one here almost matches it perfectly. So this is going to be our starting point. On the left you've got your base paints. So you can click through these. So if you can see, number 3 is the blue, so it's the outer stripe. Number 2 is the green, so the inner stripe and the bottom colour markings of the car. And number 1 is the main body colour of the car. So they're the paints we're going to be adapting today. So if we start by looking at the main colour of the car here, so the red. So we need to change that to the blue. I've already got the hex codes ready, and you can find these online yourself by just searching for the hex codes of the livery you're wanting to make. So if we copy the blue and paste that in here, that changes the colour. So that is the main body of the car already painted. The next one, obviously, we need to do is the main stripe. So we need to change that to red. So again, I've got the red hex code ready. Just copy that, and we'll paste it in here on the right hand side. And there we go. Easy as that. And the last one is the outer stripe, and we're going to have that in white. So look, body of the car is already painted, and we're not even up to 2 minutes yet. So that's how easy it is to use Paint Builder. Another fantastic feature of this, rather than having to mess around saving files and adding them into iRacing, you can simply click Sim Preview and update. And what this does, once it finishes loading, you go onto iRacing, make sure you've got custom paints enabled, and you can see how the car's looking already. So as you can see, we've already got that iconic paint scheme. We just need to start looking at adding some logos. So if we go back to Paint Builder and go to my uploads, so I've already uploaded the STP logo here. It's easy to add any more though, just by dragging and dropping in this box here. The easiest way to do this is to search transparent logo and the one you're looking for on Google. So that's how I found this STP logo. So by clicking it, it brings it in to the sim software itself. We just want to position this on the bonnet and right click, and it brings up the options. We just want to rotate this until it's facing the correct way, and then we zoom in so we can get this how we want it. We'll go back to the wireframe now that we're going to be using it, and let's pick a bit more recognisable colour. So if we go for like let's try a black and white, or even better, let's find a colour that works for us. There we go, so you can see that wireframe a bit more clearly now. So what we need to do is we need to line up this logo, but first we need to get the correct size. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so we can see the full bonnet, and just increase the size of it until you're happy. And as we know, on the original colour scheme, this covers more or less the full bonnet of the car. So that's what we're going to be doing here, and use the boxes to help you here. So obviously we've got the sponsor block in the background, as you can see, the outline box. That won't be on the final design of a car, but you can use it to help line up your designs. So here we're just going to line up the logo, and I think I'm already pretty happy with that. As you can see, it's touching either corner pretty much evenly, and the top and the bottom. To make sure you've got it lined up, click that Sim Preview again and let it load up into iRacing. There we go, look at that, pretty much lined up. I'm happy with that, how it works. So again, we've got a logo on the car and we're just touching 4 minutes. Obviously now what we need to do is add the logos to the rear of the car, as we see on the original designs. So we need to add them on either side. So if we go back to Paint Builder, zoom back out a little bit using the slider on the bottom, and simply click and drag to reposition the car map where you want it. And obviously go to My Uploads again, and STP logo. And this time it's going on the rear end of the car. So we want to bring it down here, and again using the slider, zoom in, click and drag to position it where you to position the car map. And then what we want to do is resize this logo as you would do in any application. And using the lines, you can see we'll get it inside the sponsor block again. Try and line it up with the bottom, as it gives you an easy lining mark, and then just reduce the size accordingly, and we'll bring it in by 1. So there we sat 1 in from the end, 1 box from the end, and we're filling the box. So let's see how that looks. Go back into iRacing. So that's sat a little bit too high for me, as it's sat across the top of the car, so I want to bring it down slightly. So let's go back into Paint Builder. Let's bring it down by a couple of lines. So now it's just sat with a T on the bottom of these extra lines here. So let's have a look at what that looks like now. So we go back into iRacing. Yeah, much better. That's a lot better placement there, so I'm happy with that. So now we need to add this onto the other side of the car. So you go back into Paint Builder, right click on the logo and duplicate. It'll duplicate the one in exactly the same size we've done already. So as always, find it a little bit easier, zoom out and drag and drop to the other side of the car. So if we go back to where we was here, we was 1 box in from the end, and the T was sat just below these extra lines. So we want to do the same. So right click and rotate, so we've got the right orientation, and do the same. So 1 box in from the end, drop it so the T is just sat below, and if we load up the Sim Preview again, so we get back onto iRacing, and there we go. So iRacing has now just decided to have a bit of an issue, so let's try that again. So yeah, we've got that sat on both sides of the car evenly, so yeah, I'm happy with that. So that design is almost done now, but on the original design it had oil treatment written on it as well. So let's have a quick look at doing some text. So I'm going to go back to Paint Builder, and it's got a nice easy text tool, so just simply by clicking add text, it loads up this window where you can do the text you want. So we're going to have it all in capitals, oil treatment. As you can see, I've typed that already when we're practicing, so select that, and what we want to do then is pick the font we want. So these are all the different fonts you have available, so there's quite a lot of different ones on there. So if we just select one that we like the look of, so I'm going to go with this one. It's nice bold font and it should give us a good image. So simply, nice and easy, as change of colour of the font to white, and we want a little bit of a stroke length, so if we just, so we want a bit of an outline, so we'll go about number 2. There we go, that is our text for the car. So we're simply drag and drop it where we want it. So we're going to do it on this side of the car first. And again, try and use the lines to help line it up, because it's going to make it easier later on. So we line it up there. So we're 2 away from the STP logo and lined up near to the top. So let's see what that looks like. So back in iracing, that doesn't look too bad, to be fair. So yeah, I'm happy with that placement. What I might do, I'm going to bring it down ever so slightly, because it is just clipping the top of the car. So let's bring that down a little bit. So we go back into Paint Builder, bring that down ever so slightly, so it's sat above the wheel arch this time. Let's try it there. Let's do sim preview once again. So back into iracing. Yeah, it's not sat on the car now, so that looks a lot better. I'm happy with that placement. So what we need to do is copy that onto the other side of the car now as well. So we go back to Paint Builder, right click, duplicate, and we just drag it across as always. So again, let's look where we was. So it was 2 across, we were sat just above the wheel arch, so like a box above the wheel arch. So let's bring it across to the other side of the car. I want to rotate it again, as we did with the logo. So we want to be 2 across from a logo, so didn't we? Let's have a quick look, so we'll make sure we've got that lined up correct. And just above the wheel arch. So yeah, 2 boxes across, I'll do the same, and just above the wheel arch. That is a warning saying we're nearing the end of the time, but let's see how that looks. I'm going to bring it across a little bit just to line that up. Try and line them up evenly. Let that load up. Let's go back into iracing. And there we go. If you had a little bit more time, you would be able to get these placements a little bit better, but I've just been showing you how you can do this in under 10 minutes. So as the clock reaches 10 minutes now, we'll pause right there as I'm happy. So coming up just under, so we're on 9 minutes. Just under 58 seconds. So yeah, I'm happy with that design. As you can see how easy that was to do. So to load that up into iracing, it's nice and easy as everything is with Paint Builder. All you need to do is simply click on Race in the top right hand corner and click Apply. Let that load up. It takes a couple of seconds to do that. And that's it. It says raced car successfully. So that is now added to your car in iracing. So it's all ready for you to race, and you'll be, as soon as you load up, that will be in iracing for you. So that's it. Nice quick round and whistle stop tour of Paint Builder and how you can use it to design your own custom paints. I am going to do another video in a little bit more in depth. This was like an introductory one, just to show you how you can do it nice and quick. If you watch this far, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Make sure you drop a like and drop a subscribe as well for future videos where I'm going to be going into this in a little bit more in depth. As always, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.